Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. Wednesday night, I was looking to go check out a movie, and I saw an early screening for something that came out for this weekend. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll go check this out. And then they said, free whiskey glass. And, if it's free, it's for me. So I shot my way down to the movies, and I gotta say, I enjoyed a real good chunk of this comedy. I like its cast, and its cast gets to do what its cast is really good at. And in those moments, oh, does this thing work? So why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive into spoiler free on what men want. That's right, look at my nice What Men Want glass that giveaway that they had at AMC the other night. Very, very, I'm not a huge whiskey drinker, but, if I'm going to drink whiskey, I'm gonna drink it in my What Men Want glass. Why not, right? But the movie, I gotta say, like I said, a good stretch of this movie is quite enjoyable. I thought they did a good job of adapting the story, and kind of flipping it on its head. I thought the R rating really, really worked, because if you're gonna get into what's in a man's head, a lot of times it's not really PG-13. And all of that plays well as the brand of humor that Taraji P. Henson is good at. So I thought all that stuff worked, but the writing itself, it has ups and downs. I think this movie kind of gets off to a fairly slow start. I was kind of waiting for it to kick into gear for a while. The first couple laughs that come in the movie, I was like, chuckle here or there. I was like, uh-oh, if it keeps up this pace, this movie is not going to be well received. And the ending, same kind of thing. It's a rather clunky end, and a lot of character shifts, like, that you don't expect. You think the characters have kind of learned some things, or they've kind of grown, and then all of a sudden they revert like back to what was like even worse than what there was. But in the middle, and it's interesting because at the beginning and the end, Taraji P. Henson has no powers, and for those who aren't quite sure what Men Want is about, it's a twist on the 2000 What Women Want that starred Mel Gibson, where he acquires the ability to hear what's inside women's brains. In this one, Taraji P. Henson's character, Ollie Davis, acquires the ability to hear what's inside men's brains. And she works at a sports agency where she is surrounded by guys 98% of the time. There's very few women in the office, and certainly no one that's, has the chance to be a partner at the firm itself. And all of that kind of just plays really well into what the movie does when she acquires the powers. But when she doesn't have those powers, the movie is a little rocky. But when she gets them, oh my, Taraji P. Henson, for like an hour plus, is just on fire in this movie, man. Her fast talking, like just sass and attitude just works. There are just some absolutely ridiculous scenes. The first time we get to see her be intimate with her love interest in the movie, goodness me. And what's great is the movie is, I think, gives you a fair representation of both sides of the coin, very much like the first one did, where like when things are happening to a guy, before she can hear the voices, everything that you then see happen later on, you're like, yep, that's exactly what would be going through my head. And Taraji P. Henson is just hysterical in those scenes. But then, of course, there's the one that we've seen in the previews, where she's at the poker table, and it's Shaquille O'Neal, Grant Hill, Mark Cuban, and a bunch of her other castmates. And that scene crushes it, man. Like, the way she's able to use hearing all of their thoughts to like control the table and do things, and just her interactions, and everybody in that scene is great, man. The inner thoughts on everybody at that table are just fantastic, laugh out loud stuff, and that's really when the movie gets itself going. And the other big star in that scene, of course, is Tracy Morgan, who is also fantastic in this movie. What Adam Shankman did quite well, who's directing this one, was just let Tracy be Tracy. And Tracy is kind of like a twist on LeVar Ball, the one player that Taraji's going after to hopefully get, partnership at the firm she's at, is like one of these high school phenoms. And the dad is this crazy dude, and it's perfect for Tracy. He absolutely knocks it out of the park. You laugh at pretty much almost everything that comes out of his mouth. And because Shankman lets him be Tracy, he just says the most ridiculous things. And there's like after the credits, there's like a little behind the scenes thing, and Taraji P puts it perfectly. She's like, I love Tracy, man. You're talking to Tracy, then all of a sudden you're just going left, and you're like, Tracy, when did we get there? And he'll just look at you and be like, but it's true, and it's so accurate, man. And he gets to do a lot of that in the movie, and it's absolutely wonderful. But one of the other top-notch scenes in this movie, and almost every time they're on screen together, is when Taraji P. Henson is with her assistant, Brandon Wallace, played by Josh Brenner. And when Ali and Brandon are together on screen, I just like their chemistry and their relationship, and the way that relationship grows throughout the movie. But when she starts to understand that she can hear voices, and they start to have the dialogue they have in the car. We see that a little bit in the trailer. And then when they get back to the office, that entire stretch is absolutely fantastic. And the way that Josh Brenner, because he knows this, is able to communicate to her throughout the movie, really, really good. And I let Josh Brenner have a lot of fun in this movie, and I just thought he nailed all his stuff. He makes you laugh a lot throughout the movie, and also gets you to connect on a couple of the emotional beats toward the end of the movie that really worked. But this movie is not all laughs, and there's plenty to go around. I mean, this cast is absolutely crazy when you look at all the people that are in it. We have Brian Bosworth running the firm, and he has some nice sequences. Max Greenfeld, who I'm a big fan of from New Girl, is absolutely fantastic in the movie. And you can go on, but Aldous Hodge, who plays Will, who's like the love interest in the movie, oh man, so like he makes all that stuff work so well. Just the story and what's tied to it and how it plays out when he's on screen with Taraji. He really helps her a lot in like the growth of her own character. And that relationship all really works until you get to the end. And then it just kind of gets rocky in the writing. And it kind of makes some of the things that you've already pre-set up and determined kind of shaky and fall apart. But Aldous Hodge is there to save the day at the end of the movie with Taraji P. Henson to kind of pull it back together and end on a solid note. The other person who works really well, in this stretch of kind of more emotional beat stuff, is a guy that we just saw in the new trailer for Shaft. Richard Roundtree plays Taraji P. Henson's dad, and their moments are really touching, man. They have a lot of nice reflective moments. He runs, like a boxing gym, so they have like a couple scenes there. And then the other scenes they have where Aldous Hodge and his son are involved. Those scenes are really touching too, and they work, really nicely in enhancing all that stuff. And it's always nice to see Richard Roundtree on screen. And then, maybe the quiet standout in the movie is Erykah Badu, who plays this kind of psychic. And when Taraji's Ali Davis gets together with her best friends for her best friend's bachelorette party, they do this psychic thing, and oh my gosh, Erykah Badu is so good. As are Taraji's friends in the movie, played by Phoebe Robinson, who plays Sierra, Wendy McClelland Covey, who plays Olivia, and the bride-to-be, Tamala Jones, Mari. Those three are really, really good, and that story kind of works real well. But again, also involved in one of the clunkier things that kind of makes you... There's a scene toward the end of the movie near the wedding where you're just like, whoa, how did we get back to here? It kind of regresses a little bit, and that's that clunky area of the movie that I was talking about. But for the most part, the cast in this movie is really good, man. They all hit really wonderful beats, and there's a lot of different flavors of comedy throughout the whole thing. But overall, man, I really did enjoy most of What Men Want. A couple wonky spots, and it is very retro. This feels very 90s. This feels like it could have been made right after the first one. That works with what Shankman kind of is good at doing, but it is kind of like a throwback a little bit. But overall, man, I did dig most of this movie. I thought Taraji was just absolutely hysterical, on fire, as is Tracy Morgan. When you have two leads like that and a supporting cast as good as you got, you're going to laugh a lot throughout this movie. So those are all of my non-spoiler thoughts. Now I know what you're thinking, man. Have you gotten out to see What Men Want? Did you just love Taraji P. Henson's fire mixed with just the wildness of Tracy Morgan? Was the movie not for you? Did you not find it funny? Let me know all that down below. If you haven't seen it, have we enticed you to want to go see it? I don't necessarily know if it's a movie you need to see in the theater, but it certainly is really quite funny. And if you like the people that are in this movie cast-wise, you should really enjoy the movie. So let me know what you're thinking. If you haven't seen it, down below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, go hit that subscribe and little bell, man, so you can get alerts every time I make a new video. Come join the Cinema Sit-Down squad. So that's it, man. For the C-Man's Cinema Sit-Down, I'm the C-Man, and I'm signing off. Peace. Well, oh B, you guys are still here? You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry, C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy, and if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit-Down Squad, man. Hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.